Hi, and welcome to Living Inspired with Autism. This is the show for parents of autistic children who want to live a calmer, more joyful life while raising their incredible kids without losing themselves in the process. I'm Antoinette. I'm a life coach for parents of autism. I am mom to my beautiful 10-year-old Max, who has autism. I'm a wife and also a business owner. And each week I share tools, stories, and inspiration to help you build a thriving life with autism at the center. So let's get started. Today's episode is all about capacity. Now, this is a word that's been sitting with me for a while because I've been working with a few parents lately who are giving absolutely everything to their children and yet still feeling like they're just one meltdown / behavior away from breaking. And maybe you can relate because I most definitely can. Because you've got therapies, you've got appointments, you've got meetings, you've got work, you've got your life. You're trying to be a teacher, an advocate, a nurse, and somehow also a parent who just wants to love their child. And while you're holding on to all of that, you're also supposed to be cooking dinner and showing up at work and paying the bills and maybe, just maybe, remembering that you are a human being with needs too. It's a lot. And when you're living at that level, it's easy to start wondering, how much longer can I actually do this? What happens if I burn out? What happens if I just can't anymore? Now, if one of those questions has ever whispered in the back of your mind, you are in the right place today, because we're going to be talking about what capacity really means, why it's so essential for us as parents of autistic children, and how you can expand your capacity, and not by doing more, but by giving yourself permission to hold more without breaking. So by the end of this episode, my hope is that you're going to feel lighter, more hopeful, and better equipped to create that space for yourself and your family. So let's dive in. When we think about capacity, most of us imagine productivity. We think about how much we can get done in a day, how many appointments we can fit in, how many things that we can check off our to-do list. But real capacity isn't about doing more, it's about how much you can hold. So I want you to picture a balloon for a moment. If you keep blowing air into it without pausing, eventually it's going to burst. But if you stretch it ever so slowly, if you give it a bit of space to expand, that same balloon can hold so much more without breaking. Now the balloon is us. And as parents of autistic children, our balloon is being stretched in ways we never expected. We're holding the therapies and the meltdowns, the behaviors, the school struggles, the sensory needs, the late nights, the cleanups, the constant advocacy. And often we keep blowing more air into the balloon, thinking if I just push a little harder, I can handle it. But you don't need to cram more air in. You need to stretch the balloon. You need to give yourself space. Now for me, that looked like creating little moments, small moments in a day, just where I could breathe. And I used to believe that I had to be on all the time, ready to jump, ready to fix, ready to manage Max's every need, and ready to clean up. But when I started giving myself permission to step away, even just for 5 minutes, to have a quiet cup of coffee or to listen to a song I love, I noticed something. I came back with more space inside, more patience, more calm. Now this sounds like such a small little thing, but I promise you, don't discount it because it's small. It works. So that's the essence of capacity. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about creating the inner space to handle what life gives you. Now let's talk about emotional capacity. Because our biggest challenge as parents isn't the logistics. Yes, the schedules are exhausting. Yes, the therapies are overwhelming. Yes, maintaining our homes with all the messes pushes us to the limit. But the thing that wears us down the most is the emotional weight. It's the meltdown or behavior in the grocery store. It's the blank stares from strangers. It's the constant cleaning up of messes and keeping one eye on your kiddo. It's that feeling that no matter how much we give, the world just doesn't get our child, and sometimes it doesn't get us either. And while we're carrying that, we often don't give ourselves permission to feel our own emotions. We shove them down, we keep going, we tell ourselves, I don't have time to cry right now, I can't fall apart. But the more we bottle those emotions, the less capacity we have to hold everything else. One of the most powerful shifts I've seen with parents that I coach is simply learning to notice the wins, noticing the joy. Because when you're so focused on firefighting, it's easy to miss those small good moments. But celebrating those wins, even the tiny ones, actually expands your capacity. Now, I had a client who used to say, nothing ever works, nothing ever changes. But when we slowed down and actually looked at her week, she realized that her son had tried a new food. They had gone a full day without any behaviors, and he even said a new phrase, and she missed all of it because she was so focused on the things that weren't working. When she started celebrating those wins, her whole energy shifted. She wasn't any less tired, but she was more resilient, more hopeful, because her balloon had stretched. So here's my invitation for you this week. Just take 5 minutes before bed and write down 3 things that went well. They don't have to be big. Maybe your kiddo gave you a bit of eye contact. Maybe you got a moment of quiet. Maybe you gave them an instruction and they followed it immediately. Maybe you just remembered to drink water or just have a damn good cry. Those are little wins and they compound. They expand your emotional capacity and they remind you that yes, there is joy as well. So if this is resonating with you and you want to go deeper, I'd love to work with you one-on-one, because together we'll build your capacity in a way that just feels sustainable so that you can show up for your kiddo and for yourself. And you can find the link to book a call in the show notes below. Finally, let's talk about energy. And I don't mean just physical energy, though let's be honest, the sleepless nights do take their toll, and I mean the emotional and spiritual energy too. Energy is what allows us to show up with love instead of resentment, hope instead of despair, patience instead of frustration. And the truth is, energy is built when we allow ourselves to feel all our feelings. Now that might sound strange, but most of us think, if I let myself feel sad or angry or hopeless, I'll never get out of it. But actually, the opposite is true. The more willing you are to feel those emotions, the quicker they pass through you. The less resistance, the less suffering, and every time you allow yourself to feel, your capacity grows. Think of it like surfing. You can't stop the waves, you can't stop the emotions, but you can learn to ride them. And every wave you ride makes you stronger, steadier, and more capable of handling the next one. And this is one of the powerful shifts I made, was just sitting down quietly with my emotions and letting it all come up, just 15 minutes a day. And sometimes there was nothing there, and other days it felt as if a dam exploded. And that's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. It's just all part of the process. Because at first I thought it meant I was weak. But then I realized later it was those moments of letting go that actually gave me the strength to keep going. By feeling my emotions, I wasn't wasting energy holding them down. I was making space. And that's what energy capacity is all about. Okay, so let's recap. Capacity isn't about doing more, it's about how much you can hold. Like a balloon, you need space to expand. Then celebrate the wins, however small, to build your emotional capacity. Joy is fuel. And allow yourself to feel the full range of emotions, because that's what expands your energy and resilience. And I promise you, you won't die and you won't get stuck there. So this isn't about perfection. It's not about keeping it all together all the time. It's about expansion. It's about giving yourself permission to stretch, to create the space, to grow in ways you didn't know you could. And when you do, you'll find that you can hold so much more without breaking. So if today's episode spoke to you and you're ready to expand your capacity in a safe and supportive space, I'd love to work with you one-on-one, because we can create a personalized plan that allows you to thrive, not just as a parent, but as a whole person. You don't have to carry this alone. So if you would like to reach out, there is a link to book a session down below in the show notes. And I wish you a wonderful week ahead, and I will speak to you next week.